Hi Neil, finally having you on the call.
Thanks. Thanks for having me, Kamlesh. It's been a long wait. I made you wait. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. I mean, I know the pain of you getting you on the call. So there is a saying that never say never until it's over. So finally, good to have you here. How are you?
Thanks, man. I'm good. How are you?
All good, all good. So Neil, you are based in Bangalore and running the Just Shawarma. And
Yes.
if I'm not, what you have told me, what I have seen, you have started the journey in 2014. And
Yes.
why shawarma? Because when you have started, Bangalore was more of a known as a software hub. It was not a, known as a
Mm-hmm.
food hub, but you altogether, if I'm not mistaken, you are a Kannadiga. And
I'm from Tamil Nadu.
okay,
I came here for education, actually.
perfect. So you are from Tamil Nadu, and all the way getting into the non-veg, where the Karnataka is more prominent into the vegetarian segment. Where did this shawarma come in the picture, and why shawarma directly?
Okay. Honest answer. I had no idea that I will be an entrepreneur. And next to that is that the whole point of this technology or software, I had no idea what was happening back then also. While I was pursuing my MBA in Jain College, it was very random. It was very random, at least for me. But it all started from my co-founder. His name is Ayush. He was almost 4 years younger to me, and he was doing his BCom honors from Christ University. Very active guy. He wanted to start something of his own. So he had pitched up a plan, couple of plan to his brother, Ashish. His name is Ashish. He's also a co-founder. So me and Ashish were doing our MBA from Jain College. So Ashish insisted to Ayush that let's take Neelesh also. So it was very random that this partnership joining hands together. Back then, Ayush had couple of ideas. One such is the bike taxi. Rapido is doing it right now. So bike taxi or a shawarma brand. So they are basically coming from Middle East. They are
Okay.
Malayalis also, and they are coming from Middle East. So they happen to see that the craze for shawarma is the same as how it was in Middle East in Bangalore also, because being a student, you just want to have a pocket friendly meal, and of course you want to go for a non-veg item, and the best thing was shawarma, where it is filled with chicken, right? So we all were regular in hanging out at a shawarma place nearby our places. Then Ayush did realize that there is no exclusive brand for shawarmas, and probably everywhere that time was shawarma being a part of a restaurant only, like you see in Empire or Savory. Shawarma was being a part of that restaurant, while shawarma itself has kind of a pull. So why don't we do it? And their family had been into restaurant industry, so he was able to foresee what are all the problems in a heavily invested restaurant would look like. So that is capital for the infrastructure, huge seating, and then huge manpower, and lot of operational challenges also. Well, shawarma, it didn't take any of those things. It just required 30 square feet place, one shawarma machine, and we are good to go. It's just chicken and sauce, which we need to make sure that we have to handle the inventory. So that's how the journey started. It was a very simple idea, and it was very simple to execute it also. So we just started speaking to people who are doing shawarmas, and we kind of started figuring out that okay, we need a good tasty shawarma, and that's how we started with Chef Shawarma.
So it was more of an experimental?
I was not in a I didn't have the understanding of, are we experimenting, are we doing something.
Okay.
It just felt right to
Do it.
work with a friend. Yeah, it felt right to work with a friend, that's all. Didn't really have much of expectation of what it could turn out to be, and that's how I also joined, and I liked hanging out with Ashish a lot. So yeah, that's it.
Interesting. So many stories are actually focused on the startup struggles, founder's journey, and so on and so forth. But you being in the same industry, I just shawarma altogether. How was your journey altogether for the last 10 years? Because there's a lot saying with respect to itna mushkil hota hai. There's so much of funding requirement, especially the way startup culture has changed entirely, and so much of food outlet has come up. What was your journey initially? How did you struggle with the फंड प्रिसाइसली बिकॉज सबका वही रोना
So
होता है पैसे नहीं है
see, this is where it gets interesting. Okay, there is a narrative in the outside. Okay, there is a narrative. Okay, that businesses take time to get settled. It's hard, and they figure out all this stuff. There is a, yeah. I mean, if I have to say in the form of a story arc, the hero's journey, they say, right? Like it goes like a hero's journey. But in our journey, na, it was ulta. Like it was completely the opposite. Okay, even though we didn't know what an MVP would mean, or we didn't know what it means to be what it means to build a startup. We had no idea of all those things. Okay, so when we started, uh, it it was a very simple philosophy that it has to taste good, and it has to be economical also. Like we can't really charge a bomb for a shawarma, right? And in this whole process, it's just a 30 square feet outlet, okay? It's just a 30 square feet outlet, like how the no, many of the unorganized Kolkata party rolls you must have seen, right? So just a small kiosk, okay? And we being passed out students of Christ and Jain, we had an advantage over communication. Okay, so we were good in communicating. We made the service better, and back then I didn't know all these things matters. Now that it's been 10 years, I understand what does experience mean, what does service design means. And when we go back and try to relate to our journey, we did all those things, even though it was not a strategy nor a act of experimentation. It was just intuitive, and just it came. Okay, uh, so slowly the word started
स्प्रेडिंग
spreading about the shawarma, and we had good ratings and reviews in Zomato. We started gaining that traction. In food business, if something seems to be successful, now immediately there will be franchisee inquiries also. That also came our way, and we started taking up those opportunities, and the the growth was like it was a very positive trajectory that we were exponentially starting to go, and all this happened without we putting in any money for marketing or business development, or going to franchisee expo shows to gain franchisee lead. Nothing of that, sir. So the we started taking up all the opportunities, and it started growing. So the challenge actually came in the form when we realized that, oh shit, we have grown this much, and we started degrowing also. So that is the point I actually started to understand how big of a responsibility has come on our shoulders. Entrepreneurship, uska matlab kya hai, and what it means to be an entrepreneur. All those things we started facing the facts very late after we operating the business. It's almost like first 5 years of the business has been great. Like we wherever we open an outlet, that was doing phenomenal. All the franchisees are extremely happy with the kind of returns that was happening, and there was not much of a competition. We had a very cool outlook of students starting something, and all those things kind of like compounded, and it grew. But when you're operating 1 3 outlets versus when you're operating 15 or 20 outlets, it's different, right? And that is when we started realizing that, oh my God, it's very hard. Like, in terms of having controls over our expenses, in terms of getting to a point that, right after this we need a capable team to lead it to the next level. The role of a leader, the psyche of how to manage people, and financial discipline, and marketing. Of course, yeah, we didn't have to do marketing, and it was always working to our favor because the product was great. Now, when I'm saying marketing, I mean branding. Like,
Correct.
you have to differentiate yourself as a brand, right? So all those things started playing a role. Like, slowly, when the model started getting familiarized with the crowd, one after other, we started seeing competition. There was similar ripoff of what Jasharma initially did, started coming in the market. And say first 5 years we saw a positive trajectory, and that post 5 years we started
Decreasing.
degrowing. So the degrowth actually taught us what entrepreneurship is. And it was never a task, or it was never a challenge for us to grow the business. It was a challenge for us when we realized that the degrowth has happened, and from here we have to grow. And for this, we have to let go of all our previous beliefs, biases, and the mental model what we were operating on. And we had to learn a lot, and it was all the kind of transformation and development had to happen internal, because I did have a phase where I tried to push things outside, and it all taught me that, no, it can't happen this way. The way I'm seeing things is not right. So that was the time I actually realized, okay, this is not something I did
It's
expect.
a
I thought
cakewalk.
it, yeah, it was like, and for some reason, even the universe played its tune where we never stepped out of Bangalore when it came to expansion. So it was always inside Bangalore, even though we had a lot of discussion around Hyderabad franchisee or Chennai franchisee, nothing materialized. Maybe that was the reason that we were not there yet. So it didn't let us go beyond that. Maybe that could have broken us like completely. The whole brand, it could have collapsed also. But all for good. Then COVID happened. It Even the degrowth also kind of compounded with COVID. But I'm happy that we were able to sustain that, and we had our own realizations and reflections to bank upon. And from here, we are looking at trying to again restart our journey, and that's what we are into right now.
Interesting. Yeah, because as you said initially, probably, especially food business में जो मैंने भी personally observe किया, it's easy to make it stabilize, but the moment it comes to the scaling, it becomes challenging. So इसी पे मेरा एक और सवाल था, because you are in a line of business where most white collar professional is a dream of. Like हर software engineer बोलता है मैं चाय वाला बनूंगा, I'll open some restaurant, I'll open some. So when did this franchisee model actually hit you, or was it? Is it like, since you have seen Bangalore has started getting a lot of other food outlets? Is that when was the realization that we need to scale but into the franchisee model?
Yes. Uh, See, it's no brainer that either you scale to franchisee route or you go through the proper investor route. Like, you raise funds and then you invest
Okay.
in company stores, and that's how you scale. Okay. Now this is hard. This is like literally hard. Like, when you step into the field of investor and all, you have to be thorough with your business model. You need to sell the idea. You need to convince that this is a model which actually has potential. So this was not even in our radar. Whereas, while when a layman is seeing that this particular outlet is crowded, okay, and they do judge by looking at the infra of the outlet also. If it is a kiosk and great business is happening, they do have their calculations on, like, it won't take much cost on this thing, and look at the business that's happening. And That's how franchisees started reaching out to us also. Now, uh, from the lens of a franchisee, from the perspective of a franchisee, it's very simple. They look for returns. Okay, I mean, they don't look for anything else. They start a side income in the form of a franchisee, knowing that this will probably yield an additional source of income, which will help them be financially better. As long as that happens, it's all cool, it's all good. Okay, the moment that doesn't happen, that's when franchisee also starts getting agitated. So they look for the brand to step up and do something, and they look forward for some sort of ways to get back the momentum in the revenue increase, or marketing, the form of marketing. They look forward to the brand, because that's the place where the trust got established, and they also invested, right? Now, in these areas, if the brand is not able to fulfill what their requirement is, they start going out of what was supposed to be done in the franchise. They start figuring out, okay, let's launch this. Let's try to procure ourselves so that we can reduce the cost. All those things starts coming in the minds of a franchisee. Now, in our franchisee scaling journey also, when the times were good and they were also able to earn a decent returns from the investment, they were okay with anything that we said. Like, they were actually feeling part of the whole ecosystem. But when things were not going, they also get fed up, right? They also kind of like say and it is a very interesting time also where deliveries came into play. Swiggy and Zomato had a massive war for the market share, and they were giving deep discounts, and the discounts were kind of funded by Swiggy and Zomato. uh, Again, the brand was also too early to understand that, okay, these things will be taken later on, or this kind of growth is not a sustainable growth. We thought everything is doing great and it would be the scenario, but eventually when all those bubbles started bursting, franchisee also franchisee trust question also started coming down with the brand. And that's when we realized that, okay, we were too early to scale through the franchisee route. We should have had the right systems, right kind of activities that would make sure that the growth is consistent for an outlet. So there is a metric in restaurant business, same store sales growth, they call it. So the store, is it growing annually for a particular percentage? So they evaluate this thing. If it is not growing, it has hit the stagnancy. How the brand is figuring a way out of that situation. So all those things started coming as question. And during that point, franchisee started losing the trust in the brand, and we did realize that, okay, there is literally zero systems in place to support the whole scale that has happened. So we need to again figure out. So we had to take operations of the few of the outlets, and we started giving out a minimum guarantee returns to them for the investment, to make sure that they are okay. Whatever the losses, we will take it for now, and we will figure out the growth. And those kind of actions only, we were able to retain some part of our franchisee even now. But yeah, I do understand some franchisees had to decide to quit and move to the next thing. But I take ownership of what went wrong for that particular reason.
फूड इज अ बिजनेस जहाँ पे स्पेशली जो पर्सनली मैंने भी रियलाइज किया है एवरी अदर quarter there is a one restaurant coming, one business is closing, one business is coming, one business is coming, and this is such a rapid pace. In fact, in Bangalore itself, I myself have witnessed hundreds of restaurants keep on getting closed every month rather. Even I stayed in BTM, I have seen the same pattern in Kodmangala too. What has actually worked in favor of Just Sharma in over the 10 years? As one of the things that you have mentioned is word of mouth, but that word of mouth is certainly is not the only thing that might have worked. And especially Just Shawarma is just one. it has a very one category of offering that is only focused in shawarma.
So, okay, there are three reasons to it. I'll go one by one. Shawarma, the nature of the product is more of like an impulse buy. Okay, anything you do impulse na, it kind of has more volume to it. Okay, now you might have seen, say, Kebab Magic and all. They put huge load of chicken as shawarma, right? And you see that moving consistently is because it's impulse. So shawarma as a product has the ability to move volumes when you compare it with a burger or something. So you don't have impulsiveness attached to a burger or a pizza. It's always an occasion. Whereas shawarma, it's always impulse. So that worked to a favor. So coming in the right locations, good footfall, that worked for us. Now, next is shawarma. Shawarma didn't require us to invest heavily on infrastructure, finding huge spaces like taking up, say, 1,000 square feet or 800 square feet places. Uh, at one point of time, our average square feet of all outlets were at 125 to 150 square feet only. And with the kind of square feet your rentals also varies. Now probably I could get a great location at say 150 square feet. I mean, when the space is smaller, right? In real estate, it is hard to crack a location. But if you crack it, probably it will be max 50,000 or 75,000. Okay, and so land was something which didn't seem to be like a extreme overhead or a risk for us when it comes to the overall success of the business. Then labor. Uh, you have two staffs, you will be able to successfully operate a shawarma outlet.
Okay.
So volumes, land, labor. So these three things, no, this play to our favor. Now, all these things, when you put it, you can see that okay, you are able to do better revenue. Say, let's say 5 lakh or 6 lakh revenue, which is a high volume for high volume of revenue to be generated from a single SKU, and the land and labor is probably together it is only 15 percentage.
Okay.
So which is not usually the norm. I'm saying 15 as the highest. We do have data of where we have clocked land and labor together at 11 percentage also, whereas the industry standards is around at 25 percentage. So this kind of work to our favor. So all these were the things which actually happened to be the reasons why we were successful in the initial days. Though I didn't figure out back then. Later, when I did my research of how the industry operates, what are all the metrics that matters, and how bigger brands like Domino's and all track their whole P&L, I got to know okay. And then when I tried to apply to our business model, I figured out, oh, okay, this seems to be like a really good metric that we have figured out, and that is the reason it worked for us.
Perfect. I actually want to go back to one of the question where you highlighted the just shawarma business were degrowing, or rather growing in a negative way. I myself have been an ex-founder of a company, and I couldn't take it to the level that I wanted to. And I know the what it takes to be, because it's not always a glory figure that it looks like, or rosy walk as well. I myself have been the guilty of not able to pay. I myself have been a guilty of, because दिखता जितना अच्छा नहीं, तुम तो founder हो, you are the boss, and so on and so forth. The reality is harsh and fucked up.
True that.
How do you deal with that? Have you have you gone through the major failure as such?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not a nice thing, right, when you're degrowing. So that's also kind of like a failure. So all those outlets which seems to be doing great started shutting down, and we were still in the game. So I'm grateful for that also. But the degrowth success didn't teach much, whereas
Right.
the failures taught a lot. So that that kind of uh, pushed me to search for answers, even though I didn't know where to search for my answers. Uh, Say they said read books. I started reading books, even though not having an idea of what book am I going to read or why am I reading. I just started reading, and that's also a journey, right? Like there is this psychological term for this, okay, where when you start going through the journey of acquiring knowledge or discovering something, so you get overconfident with that initial few books you read, and you kind of get that feel that you know it, and then when you continue doing it, you start confronting the fact that, oh my god, it is huge, like, and you start feeling that you are an imposter, you don't really know much, and but if you surpass that also, you start you start accepting that everyone can't know everything, and all that matters is that we have to constantly keep pursuing it, and that's the only thing which is under our control. Nothing else is in our control, and slowly you start understanding all the initial dots that started getting mapped in your brain starts getting connected all of a sudden. So, oh, okay, this makes sense, this makes sense. So that was the whole journey for me, and it was not easy, I would say. It was I didn't have difficulty fighting the world, but I did have difficulty fighting myself, my own set of belief system which needs to go under unlearning and then relearning. So all those things have been definitely hard. But I'm happy that I did understand that life is all about continuous learning, which is which is exactly proportional to what an entrepreneur needs to do.
So I actually again I have the same follow-up question. आपने एक word use किया कि people have started telling you that start reading. Does that really help? Because in most of the cases, in fact, I myself have seen, and in most of the cases, whether as a job holder or as even as a business, the moment you see the downfall, the moment you see that nothing is happening in and around, everybody in and around, whosoever is either have gone through, start reading, start reading without giving it a proper guidance as in what to read, what not to read, which to read, and what sort of book to read. In your case, you did mention that आपने काफी सारे books पढ़े. Does it really help?
Uh, See, of course, books help. Okay, let's be honest with that. That the fact is that there is something to take away from any book. Okay, it doesn't have to be a bestseller, or it doesn't have to be a recently launched book. Okay, even even if there is one idea that makes you think, or that makes you push beyond the borders of what you know as understanding, and from there you are drawing conclusion based on your experiences, that is a firm understanding, that is definitely firm understanding. It's kind of like life changing. So ever in your life you encounter a situation similar to what you made sense of, you have something to back your understanding. You know that, say, let me give you an example of okay, let's say design, okay, experience design, and uh, right now everyone talks about experience, everyone talks about design, the importance of design and experience in all sorts of business. Now when you start reading it, you might not really understand anything, okay. You have not done it also, you are trying to understand what the author is saying, but just absorbing as it is what the author says, you will not be able to make sense. Now, say if there is an example about how the service design works in McDonald's, and I'm reading it, I draw parallels to what is relevant to my experience, and when I make that understand when I make that connections, right, I realize that, okay, why haven't I thought through this? Because this seems to be like a real problem, and I have seen customers waiting for my order more than say 4 minutes or 5 minutes, whereas McDonald's was able to factor that 3-4 minutes and try to standardize to 30 seconds, and then it was able to replicate it across all the outlets. And that 30 seconds seems to be a convenience factor for the customer. Now all these things are making sense, right? So you have to introspect. Anything you read, it can be a blog or it can be a book or it can be even if you speak to a senior in the industry, or if while I'm speaking to you also, if there is something which I can draw parallels to it, I try to take that. That's how the whole learning process works. So introspection is important.
Correct.
If introspection doesn't happen, and if you're trying to absorb what it is, that would not help you. So there is a very famous saying which says that defining something and understanding something are two
It's two
different things.
different things.
So if you are moving towards this side of the spectrum where you are trying to only define, that means there is something flawed with your understanding. So you should always focus on the understanding. So that's why I don't try to absorb the whole book, whatever I'm reading. Even if I could connect that one thing which is relevant to me now, from there I build on it and I try to apply it with my team, or as an experiment, and then from there again it evolves to become something. So that's the whole process.
So, as a founder, there is a lot of pressure with respect to the performance and remain relevant. I know when you are facing the negative growth, how did you deal with those pressure? And has it ever happened to you that you wanted to quit? भैया अब नहीं हो रहा मुझसे. I can't deal with, because you got to pay the salary, you got to pay the rent, you have an operational cost, and everybody is on your head कि भाई पैसे चाहिए, पैसे चाहिए, पैसे चाहिए, पैसे चाहिए. जितना आसान है बोलने में, उतना ही मुश्किल है इम्प्लीमेंट करने में. Has it happened to you that बॉस अब नहीं हो पा रहा?
Yes, yes, yes. See, it's a. If someone says that no, I don't feel that, they are lying. Okay, it is. It happens to everyone, and I know you being an ex-co-founder also, you know that these emotions are real. But see, there is a quote from Brad Pitt which says that it's not about the destination,
It's
it's
about the
not about
journey.
the journey, it's the company.
No,
Did
no,
you say?
no, no. I did
Okay.
not say. They just. I mean, actually saying that it's not about the. It's not about the destination.
It's
It's
the
all about the
company.
journey.
Company.
It might have
Yeah,
written
it's not
that.
about the destination nor the journey, it's about the company. Yeah, the same thing applied to me also, because we have two co-founders, and kind of we were there to back each other up. So I would say that if you are able, I mean, there are solo co-founders also who have done extremely great. I mean, that requires next level mental toughness. But if you are having a person who are all in the what is the mindset of figuring out, I am sure we will be able to figure out. So that worked for us. And but individually, yeah, I won't deny the fact it has been hard. There have been challenges of how are we going to pay the salary. There will be challenges of vendor payments, and yeah, that's not that's something inevitable.
No, true. Because as you rightly said, that the moment it comes to the, if you have the entire team or co-founder, it works to an extent. Little it become easier, because
Yes, yes,
when
yes,
you are
yes,
running
yes.
all together alone, it's a fucked up. Let me put that
True
across.
that.
So yeah, what is your management style? How do you connect with your team? Or I'm sure, so over a period of time, as you said, that you yourself have realized that what is being an entrepreneur, what is being establishing a company, because initially 5 year it was a rosy road for you, but you actually hit when you actually start seeing the negative growth, or when you see that there's a downfall. How did that actually evolve with respect to your leadership style? And then you realize that, boss, it is also important to connect with my team, whosoever is working, because the industry that you are in is very high attrition with respect to the one who actually works in the outlet.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so both be it white collar or blue collar employees. I wouldn't say my style, okay, because all that I have absorbed has kind of influenced in my style of leadership or operation. In I see a pattern to that also as a journey where it was more. It was see naturally I am a very kind person. Like I don't really confront to people or call of the wrong directly on face or something. So I always try to polish it, and say it. Uh, Now, while this is a nature of mine, which I kind of assumed that it's not right for an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs mean they have to be stubborn, they have to be cutthroat, they have to be obsessive, they have to be straightforward. I used to think all those things, and there was a conflict where I felt my nature is not an entrepreneurship. It's not fitting the persona of an entrepreneur. I started going into that spiral because how much ever I tried being nice to people, nothing was moving. There was no execution happening. There was always a challenge of constantly saying the same thing again and again and again. There came a point where I realized, oh shit, I really have a good personality. Maybe I'm spending too much time on the wrong people. So that's when it was a wake up call, and I changed as in like, okay, I don't have to change. I need to find those people who I can connect with, because uh, to be kind is a great quality, and to be able to have that as a culture, of course it is good. Like if you are able to back people, if you are able to uh, if you're able to help them out in their overall problem solving, if they are stuck, that seems to be like a great culture. uh, but for that I had to associate with the right people, and I did realize that uh, truth has to be spoken. Like uh, honesty is non-negotiable. So you are leading an organization. First you need to be honest to yourself. Only then you can be honest to
Others.
outside. There is a when we were taught honesty is the best policy, honesty is important, we didn't really understand that
The
it is for
concept
us.
isn't it?
Like the every second of your life you need to be honest. It was always perceived in a way like, I will be honest to this person, I'll be honest to this person, I'll be honest to this person. While that is also true, it all starts from within you. So honest as in like, if am I being honest in calling off a non-performer? Am I being honest in appreciating the person who is putting his effort? Am I being honest to my co-founders if they are not fulfilling their responsibilities? So all these things started coming as a question. That happened only when I started becoming honest to myself. So that was also a kind of a journey. So I would say that was the arc in my leadership or the way of operation. Now I try to be as close to the truth and be honest in terms of my role, taking Neelesh out of the picture and staying true to the role.
Okay, okay, okay. So, with regards to the blue collar employee, particularly because I myself have seen, and everybody knows that there's a very high attrition. Uh, so, what has been your journey? Is that the same case with you as well that you have seen with respect to attrition? Because almost everybody has the same complaint. What do you think is the main reason for the same
See, it's a high. That's the nature of the role
job?
also.
Okay,
But I wouldn't say if there are 10 employees, all 10 employees are like that. So
okay,
there is a percentage to it. Like say, we could say 30 percentage will always be the floating crowd. While if you are respectful, you are treating the other person with respect, and you make sure that there is a growth plan towards them. And if you are making sure that you take care of them, take care of their all their needs, like what is in the hierarchy of motivational needs. So then you tend to retain people. I'm sure all the data towards attrition and all those things doesn't correlate with Starbucks operation. Starbucks has a very great way of handling their team. So again, it's all part of the culture, and it's all part of the vision of the senior team. How they Starbucks and all pays extremely well for their store managers.
Correct.
And they do have allowance, and they have they get a growth plan. Say there is different hierarchy in a store, like where you start from a barista and then you can also go to store manager. I've seen such stories. So yeah, that's definitely there, but I wouldn't say it's completely like that. Some percentage is always floating.
So it's not generalized, but rather it does change on the
Yeah,
based on the.
it's correct. There are a lot of parameters to it before defining it or generalizing it.
Yeah, okay. So you started with your journey very early at the age of maybe I'll say 23, 24, and you look good. So do you also get a proposal via DMs and all?
As
Proposal,
in,
proposal as in obviously from the girls and all? Because when you look good and you're early founder, because there is a concept and I have heard quite a few stories about it.
I'm happily married.
Of
I'm
course, you
happily
have
married.
recently get married, but prior to that,
I mean, it's not anymore a thing for me. Like, and I try to, I did
maintain the
go
distance.
behind fame also. Like, okay, yeah, it got into my head. Like, I'm a founder. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll have girls' attention. It did go to my mind. I would not deny that. But life is much more simpler when you take that crown of your head, and this crown doesn't exist. It's just we assume that there is a crown, and we tend to believe that this thing. So it is fine to be simple and the common man than putting all those crown to our head.
Good, good. So with regards to your marketing campaign, Nilesh, I have seen your marketing campaigns talks about the body positivity. Then there's something it's more of a adult content that you try to relate. Is it intentionally, or is it more to remain relevance with the way it is going, or is it to gain the eyeballs as a
Yes, I understand that
because
point of time.
the reason I'm asking because this has no relevance with the shawarma as a food as a brand.
Correct. Correct. So the honest answer is trying to go with the trend.
Okay,
Okay, so
okay,
we tried to be relevant, and we did have our lessons over there. Like when we, without any form of brand connectivity, or without any form of having a backtrack to it. See, now if Nike does it, it makes more sense. Okay, all of a sudden there is this brand in Bangalore starting to do speak about body positivity. It doesn't make sense. Okay, for that there should be a series of activities which has to make the get into the perspective of the customer mind, and have that relevance to it. So I would be honest and say that it was purely trying to be relevant, and I would also call it was being woke also.
okay,
Woke,
okay,
yeah. But now we did understood that okay, we are a food brand, we are a shawarma brand. It's all about celebrating food. Food is inclusive. Food is celebration. Food is sometimes party. So we are trying to uh, give a different form of identity for Just Shawarma. So that's why we have been working on our rebranding and relaunching Just Shawarma. So we are actually launching our first new outlet, which is in the 2.0 branding in ITPL Park Square Mall.
okay. So is it gonna be same just Sharma 2.0? Is that?
it's just shawarma only, but a completely new look for just shawarma. So, in the way, how do we want to have a strategy behind our social media? How do we
Okay.
want to have a strategy behind our product offerings? How do we want to create an experience around shawarma? So, it has been a thought through process.
Okay, okay, okay. So with regards to the one of the final question that I wanted to have, so if since somebody is aspiring to get a franchisee of Just Sharma, what are the minimum investment that would be needed, and what are the timeline that it ideally takes to even reach the break even?
Mhm. So the new model comes in two formats, which is an express format and an experience center. When I'm saying experience center, it's with a dine-in facility. Uh, it will have its own store experience. Now the express format is more like a grab and go, little extended version of what our normal way of operations is. So that investment comes around 15 lakhs. The bigger format comes at a cost of 27 lakhs. Now the break even which we are looking to achieve is 2.5 to 3 years of investment break even. I'm saying
Okay,
investment break even. So 2.5 to 3 years. So this is the bracket we are looking to achieve the break even. But operational break even, that is starting to earn from day one, that happens from the month of store establishment itself. So we have two forms of earnings for a franchisee, where we pay a minimum guarantee for the investment they are putting in the store. So which is 15 percentage, or returns from operations, which is 8 percentage of the revenue share. Whichever is higher will be paid to the franchisee. So this is the current model.
and this includes your entire land and everything price, or is it only for the running the operation?
No, no, it includes everything: the deposit, franchisee fee, everything included.
And this might be also differing based on the areas, based on the which location, and so on and
Yes,
so forth, right?
yes. Because the deposit for the land is not in our control, so it is the deposit in Koramangala would be very different from a deposit in probably Marathalli.
Correct, correct, correct. Good, Neil. It's a good knowing you about it. So, what's the future plan? Because just Sharma, what I know, it's largely restricted with the Karnataka, and I'm sure. Do you get something from the feeling, because some of the brand, those who have come much late than the Just Sharma, has grown exponentially for XYZ reason. ये कभी ऐसा होता है इन्फीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स लाइक बॉस भाई वो ब्रांड तो अभी
Yeah, yeah.
तीन
So
साल पहले आया था एंड देन
of course. Yeah, it has always hit us in the existential crisis form, where what are we not doing right? What are we not doing right? What are we not doing right? So what happens is, in such kind of mindset, right? You start trying to copy what these new
कॉपी
players
पेस्ट
are doing and try to replicate it. So copying is more like imitating another other person, right? That also led to the understanding what it was is that we can't compete by copying. Rather, we have to get authentic to stand out of the competition. So we realized that we have to focus on what we are good at, and if we keep doing what we are good at, and we are open to feedback with respect to how we can get better, so the reward is same for everyone.
Interesting. Any plan for raising fund and all? Going to the VCs and all?
Yes. Yes, so we want to establish our 2.0. So we are launching another three locations in the next 3 months. Once these three locations are live, we will be, of course, reaching out to investor, because we have been operational for 10 years. So that is one edge we have.
Correct.
But it's not that which makes us confident. It is the future. How we have conceptualized this new model, how do we want to try to differentiate shawarma, and how to create an experience around shawarma, and how can we be in the minds of customer when a customer
See.
thinks of shawarma, that is just shawarma. So that is what we are working on, and yeah, we will keep trying till that happens.
So sort of you want to be a one brand. The moment it comes to the shawarma, it has to be just shawarma.
Just shawarma, yeah.
So any plan to expand to India, or is it like because primarily you are operating in Karnataka? Any
Yes, yes.
plan to expand to the other part of the
Yes, yes, yes. So first, we are looking to get the new model live to the audience and make understand that how are the ways we can improve our new model also, hearing to the customer feedbacks. And see, expansion should be something like tuck 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 tuck. Like expansion is a byproduct of doing something right
okay.
in the foundation level. So we do that right, expansion we can do it. But if we focus on expansion and if we miss the foundation, again it's going to be the same journey that has happened in the. So how not to do business is what we did in the first half of the business, which is almost 10 years we have paid the price. Hopefully that all comes in our form of actions in the second phase of the business.
It's like learning what that you have over the last 10 years. There's a time to implement those from the same.
Yes, yes, yes,
Good, Neil.
yes.
I mean, this was very a candid conversation from a founder perspective, especially. And जितना आसान है बोला जाना कि भाई food business is very easy to run. I understand because when somebody has grown for the 5 year and then have seen the negative growth and then have again seen the COVID time and then able to sustain. Congratulations and kudos for that. I'm yet to try for
Thanks,
the
thanks.
Just Sharma Shawarma. I must try for the same for sure. But
Yeah, I've invited you also. I've invited you also, so you have to come for the launch. And from my side, thank you so much, Kamlesh. It's a very out of the blue we got to know through a platform like Lunchbox. But I'm happy that even after 2 3 years, here we are having some conversation and speaking related to work and life and the journey of entrepreneurship. I feel like these are the things which makes us wonder, like, okay, is there some
it's all
invisible
come in a
hand which
circle.
operates and navigates all these things or what? Like, so it's fun. I did have a great interaction with you, and I'm happy that we did this, and I'm sorry that it took so much time to get materialize this conversation.
Cool. I mean, it's good that we could finally arrive at this one. And thank you so much for the input. And good to have you.
Yes,
All the best for your future plan.
thank you,
Good.
Kamlesh.
So, Neil, as a final request, I'll be needing one of your cover pick. So just share me
Yes,
that, and I'll update you once it is been published.
sure, sure.
And
Thank
send me
you,
the
Kamlesh.
details for tomorrow. I'll see you there.
Yes, 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 I will.